What's up, babes? It's Nicole, your host of Throttle Babes Podcast. The podcast where badass women empower badass women with just two wheels. Join me as I share stories of women riders around the globe. Sit back and enjoy an inside look at the female motorcycle lifestyle. Let's get into it! Welcome back to Throttle Babes. My next guest I actually discovered on my Instagram For You page. A gorgeous blue metallic bike popped up and I was like, what is this? I clicked on it and I went down the rabbit hole and then I immediately messaged her and I said, you have to come on the show. I want to know more. So welcome, Kylee.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so it's like cold and dreary today. So I'm just kind of like buckling down and trying to keep warm.
I know. It's getting close. I don't know. Can you ride all year round down there or what's it like down there?
No, we're in northern Idaho, so we're about a couple hours from the Canadian border. We get lots of snow throughout the winter. I think this year's been the worst since I've moved up here. Just more snow, it's definitely more sporadic. So I don't know, like part of me loves it, but then there's the other part of me that I'm just like, I want sunshine. Like I want to be on the road. I want to adventure.
I totally feel ya. You get that itch, and then spring comes, and it just gets worse and worse.
Yes,
So
definitely.
let's dive into it. I want to know, how did you get into riding bikes? How did you get into motorcycle?
Um, so, growing up, I'd heard stories about my grandpa about how he lived on his bike. My mom, she had engines in the bathtub, bike parts everywhere, and I didn't get to experience that side of him. Like, by the time I had grown up, he had pretty much stopped riding and was just focusing on, work and just life. He had been in a major accident, so he kinda had to take a step back. So, like, I've always grown up, seen pictures of him, and that's my idol. He's, like, everything to me, and so I've always been like, I wanna be like my grandpa. Like, I wanna be a badass like him. Like, I want to do this. And so, it was just something that was kind of like in the back of my mind. And then as I got older, I ended up in like a big motorcycle community and I was a passenger. And I was a passenger for about 10 years and I just kept on telling myself, like, I want to ride. Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to be on two wheels. Like, I want the freedom. I want the control. And at that point in my life, I was just in a toxic relationship. And so my ex told me, like, you can't do it. Like, if you ride, you're just going to kill yourself. And just all of those negative things to say, just everything. He'd just project them on me and throw them on me. And, eventually I got to the point where I was like, screw it. Like, I'm done with this. I have nothing to lose. Like, I can't do this anymore. So at that point, like my dream for riding my own bike just kept on building and building. And then I discovered the Litas. I discovered Hell Babes. Um, just that whole crowd. I started following women who were just so, in my mind, just so inspirational, phenomenal. And I was like, I want to do this. Like, if they can do it, like I can too. So the year of 2020, I finally took the plunge, signed up for my class, was like, I'm getting my endorsement, like I'm gonna go do this. And then COVID happened. I'm like, dang it. So, um, from there, I just was like, okay, like as soon as the class opens up, like I'm gonna go do it. So I want to say around August 2020, I was able to finally go take the course. And I just remember getting on like a little Honda Rebel 250 and it just felt so right. And I did the course. I talked to the instructor afterwards and he was like, "You're a natural. Like, do you have like experience riding? Like, what's your background?" And I was like, "To tell you the truth, like I kind of have like a little bit of experience, but pretty minimal. Like I rode dirt bikes and quads as a kid, but not frequently. And so the next thing you know, I have my endorsement and I moved up to Idaho. And then a year later, my husband gave me my first bike and he gave me my Dyna. And at that time, that bike was built for him. I mean, it had big T-bars, the shocks on it were raised, like everything. Like I'd go to stand it up and I'd be struggling. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And he was like, don't worry about it. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, we will fix this. And I'm like, okay. And I was still kind of like nervous. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can. And next thing you know, he's lowering the shocks and he's like, okay, now get on it, stand it up. And so finally I'm like, oh, okay, like this isn't so bad. Sitting in the garage making motorcycle noises, just like, doing it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
And so it was just like, okay, like maybe I can. And then I remember like a couple days later, he was like, hey, let's go to a school parking lot. Like, let's go practice riding. I hadn't been on a bike in over a year. The biggest bike I had ever rode was a 250. And I'm like, I'm going straight to the Dyna. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that's a big bike to start out. At least I thought so for me. I'm like, that's kind of big, like, whatever. So we go to the school parking lot. He rides it there. I get on the bike and I just start riding in circles. I'm riding around. At that time, I had back pegs on my bike, and like we noticed because my bike was so low, it was scraping, and so
Oh.
it was a little bit sketchy, but at the same point, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, like this is okay. This is fine. And so towards the end of it, he was like, okay, ride it home. And I was like, no, no, like you're riding at home for me. Like I still want to do like parking lots. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And he was like, okay, well, then you're going to stay here then. And I'm like, what? He's like, ride the bike home or figure out how to get home. Bye. And so I'm like, okay, wait, I will ride the bike home. So I rode the bike home. I killed it a couple of times at stop signs, and I was just like, I was so embarrassed, but I was like, whatever. And I make it home safely. He's like, this one time, just pull it into the church parking lot, and I will pull it into the garage for you. And I'm like, sweet. So I get home, and the next day I was like, you know what? I want to go for a ride. After that, I started riding by myself, and I'm nowhere near like where I want to be, but I know that I'm just getting that much closer. And so
Mhm.
the last few years, like it's just I've been living and breathing motorcycles. Like everything about motorcycles intrigued me between wrenching, riding, the community, just like everything. It means everything. And so that's I mean, that's kind of how I got my start, and now I feel like it's kind of pulling me in a different direction, and I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just gonna roll with it.
That's fantastic. I love that story about your grandpa. That is just like that's true motorcycle culture right there. And the fact that you were able to take that as motivation and you had an incredible partner to help push you. I know I was so nervous when I first started and my husband was the same way. It was like, "No, you're going to do it. Like you're just going to do it."
Mhm.
So, just having that little push, but once you get over that hill, god, it is so empowering. Like how
Yeah.
did you must have felt like on cloud 9 when you walked away with your endorsement.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I walked away with my endorsement, I can't even explain, like, the feelings that I felt. Like, I was so elated. Like, for so long, I'd had so many people tell me, like, "You're not gonna be able to do this," like, you're just better off as a passenger. And then to like walk away and then have the instructor there, who is a man himself, be like, you know what, like you're a natural. Like I can see you one day maybe teaching classes. Like if you get after it and practice and put yourself out there, like I can see you doing something. And it was so humbling. Like it was probably like the biggest high of my life at that point, and humbling and confidence building and just everything. Like I can't even put words to describe like everything I felt that day. It was just unreal.
It's such a great feeling. I felt similar. I was like one of the only girls in my class taking my license. And at the end we had to go into a little job trailer and they tell you like if you pass or fail
Mhm.
and then they write the paper out and he's like you passed and I just want to say like you did better than most of the guys in this class and it was the same thing. It was like, "Oh, I am that bitch." Like, "Yeah." And you just feel like on a high. You're in the car, but you're just like I was shaking so I was so nervous. Like I actually have it now and like I can
Mhm.
do it. Like, oh gosh, it's just the empowerment. So I love that you took that for yourself and I love that you're just feeling so confident in it and
Mhm.
you're working on that skill, which is the biggest piece,
Yeah.
right? So you had mentioned the Litas. Can you tell us a little bit about the Litas? I've seen them online. We don't really have many up here in Canada, but I do know it's big down in the States.
Yeah, so the Litas is a global network for women, and I had found them through Instagram. And when I found them, like I myself personally, like I knew a few women that rode, but I wanted to know more. I wanted to see more women out there doing it. And so I came across the Litas page. I came across Becky Gobel. I mean, so many women. Jessica Wise, who is the founder of Litas, who started that whole thing. And so it was just featuring all of these different women from all different places, and it was killer. And so I just remember being like, I want to bike and I want to be a part of this community. I want to be a part of like these women, like they're out there, they're doing it, they're killing it. Like, oh my God, like what can I do to be a part of it? So when I got my endorsement, and then the day that I got my bike, I went online to the Litas page and I signed up for the closest branch near me, and, they contacted me that night, and eventually, like, I went to a meetup, and so now I am the founder of the Litas Coeur d'Alene, which is completely wild. Like, I was like at first, I was like, "I don't have the experience, like, I don't have, like, the time, like, I'm never gonna be able to do this," but then, like, those moments of self-doubt and just kind of like just like all those worries that you have, like eventually I was like, I have to put this aside. And so when that time, like something just happened and it just felt right. And so I was like, this is what I'm doing. Like I have two girlfriends that I started it with. And, last week we had our first meeting, and it was the first time where we had four other women show up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this can go somewhere. And so, yeah, the Litas is all over the world. They have an app uh, that kind of like connects all these women together. And, you can see their map of like where they're all located. And I mean, up until like recently, I I was kind of like a little shy and a little in my bubble, but like since then, like I've felt myself like reaching out and connecting with like all sorts of women from all over the place, like from California, Utah, Colorado, uh Canada, like just everywhere. And I'm like, holy cow, like I'm making like all of these acquaintances and they're all a part of this network. Like this is crazy. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's worldwide, and like we all share one passion. motorcycles, the freedom of being on two wheels.
I'm so proud of you for like setting all of that aside and taking the jump and getting that group in your area. And you're right, it is, I've experienced a lot of that this last 2 weeks, I would say, is just the connection, finding other women who ride, the friendships, they feel different. Like they're real, they're raw, it's the passion behind it. We have the same passion. Like it's just it's unexplainable until you fall into that place. Like it's awesome. And so are you going to plan like monthly rides with these women, or do you like, what does that kind of look like going forward for you?
Yeah, so we started back in September, October. We had one ride. Since then, we've been trying to do monthly meetups during the winter. And I mean, it's cold, it's snowy. We're not really on the road. So it was really slow going, just me and my two girlfriends. And then now that the weather is starting to get better and riding season is like pretty much upon us, yeah, like we're going to do monthly rides. We're going to do monthly meetups to where like we do something other than just being on our bikes. So here in a couple weeks, we're going to go roller skating. We have a ride planned for April. We're going to do an International Women's Day ride. We're going to have some sort of camp out this summer. I know some of us are attending campouts. I myself am I'm going to Dream Roll. And so I'm super, super, super stoked on that. Like that is
Yeah.
one thing I've been dreaming about like this whole time. And the fact that it's going to be a reality is just crazy. And I'm actually riding my chopper down there, which I'm like, what am I like getting myself into? And everyone's like, are you sure you want to do that? Like it's hell, it's gonna hurt. Like, are, are you sure you should just take your Dyna? And I'm like, no, like you don't understand. Like, I only live once. I have to ride my chopper.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I want like this one moment in life to where like I can just look at myself and be like, yeah, I feel like a complete badass.
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
think that's so fantastic. That sounds like so much fun.
Mhm.
I met a really awesome girl in around my area a few weeks ago, and she's kind of wanting to start the same thing. So watching other people bring that to life and
Mhm.
collecting the women and getting them together even outside of bikes is something so special, and we just need more of it. But yeah, I can't believe you're going to ride your chopper there. That's amazing. Like good for you. You go. And tell us a bit more about your chopper.
Yeah, so the chopper just kind of happened. It was not planned, did not anticipate it. It was just one of those things where I guess the timing was right and it fell into place. My husband's a motorcycle mechanic, and so he has been around bikes his whole life. His dad builds bikes, he builds bikes himself. Um, Now he's working on bikes, wrenching all the time. And so, like, I have been showing him bikes for the longest time. Like, look at this girl's chopper, look at this chopper, look at this one. Like, one day can we build one? And, like I never expected like for it to happen this fast. I thought, I'd save money, it'd be like a slow project, I'd work on it with him. But he found this killer deal on this chopper and original or chopper, I'm sorry. He found a killer deal on a Sportster, and, he was like, "I'm just gonna change a couple things on it, and I'm gonna sell it." And I'm like, "Okay, sweet, like, whatever." And then the next thing you know, he's buying a hardtail from Lowbrow, and I was like, "Well, what are you gonna do now?" He's like, "I'm gonna chop it." And I was like, "Okay, like, cool, like, we're not gonna spend too much money on this, right?" Like finances, dude, we're adults. And he was like,
Yeah.
no, no, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. And I'm like, okay. And so originally it was going to be for my stepson. And then we're looking at the bike and we're like, Justin is 6'2" and he is too big for this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's way too big. He needs something a little bigger. And then just one day randomly, my husband looks at me. He's like, I'm just going to build it for you. And at first I was like, haha, you're funny. And he's like, no, I'm just going to build it for you. Like, it's going to be your chopper. And I was like,
Aw.
seriously? And so, like, next thing you know, like, first he gives me a Dyna, now he's building me a chopper. Like, pinch me, is like this real life? And so it was crazy and surreal. And, so he started buying parts, and just designing this bike. Like, the way he envisions bikes in his head is crazy. So he just started buying parts, putting everything together, and originally he just built it around the bars. And then he talked to his friend who's just this killer fabricator. Like, his work is phenomenal. Like, just, I mean, this guy is so talented. He makes it look so easy and it's just art. And so this whole
Mhm.
time, like, I didn't get to help build it, but I was definitely, like, a part of the process. Like, they'd had me go into the shop and sit on the bike, make sure everything was right. And, yeah, like, I sat there, I was able to question them on everything. Like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" They explained everything, no question was stupid, I didn't hold back, like, and they were just amazing. So I felt like through this process, I learned so much, so much. Like, I knew nothing about builds or anything like that, what really goes into it. And just like all of this is crazy. It's really an art. And then the next thing you know,
It is,
yeah,
like, it is a skill set. Yeah, it's incredible.
yeah. I was just like, yeah. And so, like, originally my husband was just gonna have the guy like just chop the frame. And then he was like, I really need a bike for this show coming up. Like, do you think we can just make it that project? And Nathan's like, you know what? Let's go for it. And so next thing you know, we built this Sportster chopper in 2.5 months. I say we, really they. But yeah, 2.5 months. And yeah, it turned out absolutely beautiful. The the paint is called Mermaid Candy. And for one, I love that color, and it's iridescent, like, and the light, it's like rainbow, and there's so many different colors. And my husband's like, "I'm just gonna build you something that's feminine with a touch of badass." And
Mhm.
that's exactly what she is.
Yeah, I was gonna say he hit the nail on the head. Like, when I saw that picture on Instagram, and for you guys who are listening and not watching on YouTube, go check out her Instagram. You have to go look at it. The paint is just, I was like, that's badass. Like, that's bitchin'. Like, and so you recently showed it, is that right?
Yes, yes. We
Yeah.
showed it at the Spokane Motorcycle Show, and, I took 2nd place for custom build, which is crazy. The lady who won 1st place, she has just this beautiful heritage. I mean, this is just primo show bike, like everything from
Mm.
the bars, the paint, just all the parts, like everything. I mean, I feel honored to like even be in the same bracket as her. It's beautiful. And so at the end of it, like, it's like, wow, 2 women who own these bikes, like, we took 1st and 2nd. And so that was just like totally surreal and just like, what's happening? And I mean, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And I mean, if it wasn't for my husband, if it wasn't for Josh at Purveyor of Speed, like none of this would have happened. And so now it's just like, okay, what else can I do with this bike? So it's just like,
Yeah.
let's go to all the events. I'm, writing it to Dream Rule this summer. I was anticipating on like writing it down to the Boise area and attending Party at the Pen. From there,
Oh.
like I'm thinking about entering it into that one moto show uh next year. I think I said that wrong. I think it's the One Moto Show, and it's down in Portland. And then I really, really, really want to get it into Mama Tried. Like I
Oh
would love
my God.
to get to Milwaukee. I mean, there's so many hidden details on this bike. If I wouldn't have been there for this whole process, I would not have the eye that these
Mhm.
amazing builders have. Like, I mean, there's just so much in it. And I'm just like looking at all these phenomenal bikes and I'm like, I want to do that too.
Yeah. It's addicting though, like, when you start getting into showing your bike, and it's not even about the winning, it's the people that you meet and the connections you make, and people who just come up to you and share their story or just are intrigued about it, and you can share your passion. It is so addicting. Like, and I wanna do the Mama Tried show so bad. I wouldn't
Mhm.
put my bike in it, but I wanna attend for sure. So,
Yeah.
I would cry for you if I saw your bike in there. Like, that would just be such an amazing thing for you.
I
Like,
don't know. Like I was watching like the whole thing for Mama Tried this year, and there's this girl on Instagram, her name's Amanda Weaver, and she just has like this badass pink Sportster chopper, like it's pink with
yeah.
flames, and like she took her bike there, and I'm like, holy shit. Like I am like so stoked for her, and just like seeing her bike in that show, I was like, I want to do that too. Like, how the heck did she
Mhm.
do that? Like, holy cow. And so yeah, now I'm just kind of like I'm on a mission. And
Well, it's a good one.
it's just like I just want to experience it. Like I want to meet all of these incredible people, and I want to like immerse myself in this beautiful, amazing community. And like I feel like my whole life I've been like searching for somewhere that I belong.
Mhm.
And right now I'm like feeling like this is my place. Like these are my people. And most of all, just like the connections that I'm making with all these different women who have all these different stories. And I don't know. It just it means something to me. Like I just want to be in this world just to ride my own ride, meet friends who become family, and see where it goes.
Yeah, you are so accurate. So accurate. I feel exactly the same. You search for somewhere you feel like you belong, and when
Mhm.
you find it, for me and for you, like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is where I wanna be.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. Yeah. Oh, it just, like, it gives me chills, honestly, thinking about it, like, to hear someone speak the same way I feel and have somebody on that level is just, yeah, it's a good feeling for sure.
It is. I didn't think something like this could bring you so much joy, but
Mhm.
now that I'm in it, now that I'm doing it, I'm just like I couldn't imagine life anyway else. Like if I didn't have a motorcycle now, I think I'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I mean, right now I've been able to ride like a few days this season, and it's just The itch is real, the need to be on my bike, to, like, have like, just to be in the wind and to feel free and just, like, to
Mhm.
feel the road, like, I
Yep.
don't know. It's something special.
Yeah, I took my bike to a show a couple last weekend actually.
Yeah.
And when you load up to go out, they just open the door and all the bikes can ride down the ramp around the block and into your trailer. Well, that was the first time I had ridden my bike since like last summer. And I was like, it was like the biggest high. I was like, oh my God, we're getting so close. Like, I forgot what this felt like. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody was like videotaping you as you're leaving, but it was like, oh man. So it just made it like 10 times worse because we still have so much snow and gravel all over our roads. But like that little like 2 minute ride was like, whoa, it was incredible.
Oh my goodness, that is so awesome.
But
I
it
can't
was so fun.
I give you kudos for that. I feel like if I were in your position, I'd be like, "Ah!" Drop.
I
Oh
was
my goodness.
sweating. Yeah, I was nervous. I was like, okay, don't mess up, don't mess up. But like at the same time, you got this. You're badass. Like you can do
Yeah.
it. You can do it.
Oh my goodness, that is so awesome. Like, that is so rad. I'm so stoked that you got to do that and experience that. I mean, I feel like those moments are what really make this life whole so special.
Mhm. For sure, for sure. And so tell me, have you been riding, sorry, is it 2 years now?
Um, so I've been writing since 2020. This is going on, I think, 3 years now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this will be my 3rd season, and yeah, it's crazy. The 1st season, I will say I did not ride that much. My bike was like, even though we had lowered the rear shocks and everything, like, it still wasn't right for me. I had those
Mhm.
big T-bars on it, and I'm just like, my arms are up, and
Yeah.
it was so awkward turning, cornering, like, it kind of like it just got into my head, and so, last summer, my husband changed the bars and made some adjustments, and then I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, I can see, like." Well, like, first of all, like, in the beginning, my speedometer was covered, so I was, like, constantly, like, trying to
Oh.
look in between the bars, and I'm like, I can see the speedometer, and then, like, just the movement, everything, now I instead of having, like, my arms fully extended, like, I have a slight bend, like, just everything just felt so much comfortable, and at first, I was so resistant to changing the bars too, I'm like, "No, no, 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 I can do it, I can do it." Nah. I mean,
Yeah, it's all about comfort.
I probably could have, like, time, but, like, now with my bars changed, like, it's a game changer, and then we just put some Legend shocks on my Dyna, and I'm just like, "Oh," like, now I'm, like, hitting some bumps and, like, small potholes, and I was like, "I didn't even feel that." Like, this is kinda
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. It's a
So
big deal.
yeah, and so, like, now, like, this summer, I've already rode more than I did at this time last year. I've already rode more. Like, I don't think I started riding until, like, May, and I think I've been out, like, 5 times already, and I'm not giving myself the option. Like, it's just I'm doing it. I'm
Mhm.
gonna hit the road. I'm going to these campouts. I'm going to these events, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm, like, slightly nervous because, like, I have experience on my Dyna, and I do pretty well on that, but, like, not gonna lie, the chopper is kinda scaring me, but I'm like, "Whatever. I'm gonna fake it until I make it."
But you'll get to that point, right? Like, that's just it. Fake it till you make it. You're right. Until you get
Mhm.
to that point where you're like, "Okay, you know what? This is okay. I can do this. Like, I've got this." But until you get there, Oh yeah, it's so nerve-wracking. You like there's
Mhm.
so much pressure, right? You want to feel like you have to be perfect and but the reality is you don't. Like it's okay
Yeah.
if we accidentally drop it a little or, it sucks, but it happens or, you know,
Mhm.
it's a work in progress and you're so determined and I think you're going to check everything off your list this summer.
I think so. Like, I definitely, I don't think I felt this motivated up until, this year. I'm like, 2023 is the year. Like, I'm in it to win
Yeah.
it. I'm putting myself out there. I'm going to have the best year and just live. I mean, we only live once. So what's the point in hiding and shying away from challenges or whatever is going on? Like I just got to go for it. And
Mhm. Absolutely.
if it's meant to be, it's just going to fall into place. And so I'm just I'm determined. Like I am going to for me this year, I'm going to master writing for me. Finally get
Yeah.
it. Like everything is just gonna click into place. And now that I say that, I'm like, it sounds so funny, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I can see the determination. I can see the passion and the excitement in your face. And I think you've been killing it on Instagram, just sharing everything. You're in your shows. Like you're on the right track. 100% on the right track. For sure.
I don't know. I was telling my friend, I was like, I feel like I'm kind of like an imposter. Like, here's all these badass people who've been in this world for so long, and I don't know what I'm doing. And it's just like,
No.
no, no, no. Like, I need to stop thinking that way. Like, maybe they have more experience, but I don't know. I'm
But they
fresh.
started somewhere too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They were once where you and I were at.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's
so
the
you just
thing,
have to keep reminding. Yeah.
yeah, and for all of those women who are out there and they are starting this now, who knows, maybe I could be inspiring someone else and have no idea.
Hmm.
Cause there was so many women that I had followed through social media that were just on their bikes and ugh, just all of it. I mean, and now I'm like, I wanna do that too, and I wanna be that person to where, if someone's, doubting themselves or I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," I wanna be their cheerleader. I wanna root them on and be
Yeah.
like, "You got this. There's nothing stopping you." And yes, it's hard, but guess what? We're fucking resilient as fuck. Like,
Hmm.
that's it. I'm going for it. Just keep telling yourself every day, "I'm resilient as fuck. I got this."
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've made a major step in being able to inspire women by starting the Litas in your area, right? Like that's just shows, hey, I want to share that passion with people. And, maybe even if you don't ride, come check
Mhm.
us out, learn
Yeah,
about it, right?
definitely.
So
Yeah.
that's a huge step in inspiring people.
Well, and it's just I just wanna, create, that community that's a safe space that we're there to help you, lift you up, answer any questions you may have. If you don't have the answer, pointing them in the right direction, really
Yeah.
and then, not only that, but, leading by example and just putting yourself out there. And, I'll tell you, I'm kind of a shy person, this is a huge step for me. I'm putting myself out there so much in ways that I've just been resisting in the last few years. And now I'm like, okay, I'm just doing it. And when we had those 4 women show up to our meeting, it was a highlight. And one of the girls who showed up, she doesn't ride a bike herself. And her friends were like, yeah, we're trying to convince her, and it's that's what you want to do, go for it. And so I just I found it so interesting because she was just out hanging out with her friends and then she shows up to this group meetup, and I don't know, it's kind of cool. So if she ever gets on a bike one day, I'm gonna be so stoked to see her out there. And I can't wait to connect with all the women in this area that ride. I know there's a lot more out there than I've realized, and
Mhm.
I'm super excited. I'm super, super excited. I can't wait to ride with them, learn from them. Like, I just
Mhm.
wanna sponge everything up.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel ya. I feel ya on that for sure. And, like, look at what it's done for your self-confidence, though, doing
Mhm,
these things for yourself, like, pushing yourself out of that box. Like, I can almost guarantee it's so much bigger than it was a year ago for yourself.
mhm.
So,
Yeah,
it's just it all adds to the overall picture.
yeah. I mean, a year ago, it was just a dream. It wasn't even a reality, and, like, now here I am, and I'm living it, and it's just, like and some days, like, I get intimidated, and I'm like, "Am I doing this right? Am I like, what am I doing? Like, can I do this?" But then you just have to remind yourself, like, "Yes, I can. Like, I can do this. Like, this is possible." And in all honesty, the sky is the limit. It's just how much you push yourself and how much you work for it to get there.
Mhm. And so, on those hard days, what do you do for yourself, or how do you make that mind shift switch? Because it's so hard to get out of that
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah. I definitely remind myself, like, I need to give myself grace. Like,
Yeah.
I need to give myself grace, and I need to realize, like, I am still learning. Nobody is perfect. Even people who are veteran riders who have been on their bikes for years, they still make mistakes. They still drop their bikes. They still take the turn the wrong way, do something stupid. Like, that's all a part of it. Like, each mistake, each learning curveball like that you face, like, all of it is meant to happen for a reason, and so it's just like, you sit there, you let it beat you up for a minute, and then you just, like, kinda just, like, have to talk yourself up, like, "You know what? Like, this is okay." And then I've learned too, talk to your friends. Talk to your friends, your family that rides, talk to the women that you ride with, reach out to other women, like, because really, we're all facing the same challenges to a certain degree. At some point, we all face the same thing. Like, I was on
Mhm.
Instagram earlier, and this girl posted this video about, finding neutral at a stoplight. And I was sitting there and I was thinking about it. I was like, usually I'm on first at a stoplight, but damn, I do struggle finding neutral.
Mhm. Oh, me too. Me
I
too.
feel so embarrassed, like, it's like
I know.
so, like, I commented on her thing and she's like, "Yeah, but why are we really embarrassed?" And I was like, "That's a freaking good question. Like, why is this embarrassing?" Like,
Right?
I
Right?
and, like, it's funny because, like, on my Dyna, I can see when I put my bike into neutral, but on the Sportster,
Yeah.
I have no speedo, like, I don't have, like, any tack. I'm like, "I can't see this." Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
"What did I do?" I'm
You're
like,
just, like, sitting
totally
there fumbling, yeah, and then it gets worse because 'cause you're panicking, so you're like, "Oh my god, everybody can see me, like, fumbling," like, ugh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. When I'm so nervous about that, I'm like, uh, I can't see and it's so stupid. It's so stu it's
I
just one of
know,
those
I
things.
know.
I'm like,
It
"Why am
is.
I making this?" That was, like,
Yeah.
one of my first questions about that. I was like, "How do I know if I have it in neutral?" And I'm like, "Wait, I should, like, really know this already, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep it in first the whole time, holding the clutch and just shut it
Yeah.
off."
Yeah. Whatever works, right? As long as you don't have to fumble.
I'm gonna have you, "What are you doing?" "I don't know."
Yeah. I don't know what neutral is. Oh, well.
It's not a
Oh,
thing.
man.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
But I
this bike doesn't
realized
have it.
yeah, this bike, it
That's
doesn't
awesome.
yeah, no speedo, no front brake. I'm like people are like, "You really should have a front brake on that." I'm like, "Maybe."
Yeah. I mean, the back ones worked great. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I will find out. It's gonna be interesting. I fought my husband on a couple of things with the design on the bike. I'm like, "I want 2 mirrors." He's like, "No, but choppers only have 1." And I'm
Oh,
so
man.
it's gonna be funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I think it's gonna be awesome. So do you and your husband get to do you ride a lot together? It's so amazing that you share this passion together.
You know, we do ride together. He's been riding for years, so he's a lot faster than me, and I'm just feel like
Yeah.
I'm going at, like, a turtle's pace, but whatever, and so, like, we go on rides. At the beginning, I used to get so frustrated, I'd get so mad, I'd be like, "You just leave me!" Now I'm just like, "Whatever."
Mhm.
I know where I'm going, like, go in front of me. But like me and him, we talk bikes all the time. Like I'm learning so much about bikes from him. Like it's amazing, just like the amount of knowledge that he holds. And he's just like, I don't know, he's like a master builder. Like this guy's a wizard. He's constantly building engines, motors, everything for his work, and it's just crazy. And so we may not ride with each other as often, but we talk bikes a lot, and he teaches me things, like, I'm learning how to work on my bike slowly but surely. My Dyna, before it was even mine, I got to change the cam in it, and that was, like, the most amazing, like, learning experience for me. I was just like I looked at him and I was like, "Please don't yell at me if I don't do something right." He, like, looks at me and he's like, "Why would I yell at you?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah. I'm just learning.
Yeah, but, he's an amazing teacher, and, like, I ask him so many questions, like, about everything, like, like, I was having a hard time, like, seeing the difference between, like what is it? I was having a hard time seeing the difference between the shovel, the pan, the knuckle, Evos, and just like different types of motors. And I was like, how do I know what's what? Like, I know like the top rocker, different shapes and like that kind of thing, but I was still like, I just don't have the eye. And
Mhm.
so, he's he's been showing me. And so like it was so funny the other day I was looking at this bike and um I looked at him and I was like, "Is this a shovel?" And he was like, "Yes, it is." And I was like, "A cone shovel." And he was like, "You caught that." And I was like, "I did."
You're getting it, you're getting
Slowly but surely.
it.
I feel so silly, but like part of me wants to quit my career and like go to school to be a mechanic.
You know what? That is just so awesome, that's so crazy because life is like you said, you only live once. And
Mhm.
if that's where your passion is, we're never people are always like, "Oh, I'm too steady and I'm too old now. I can't do that." Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Like my dad quit his job and went back to school and became a teacher at like 40 years old.
Oh my
So
goodness.
like just watching that sometimes I just remind myself like, "Okay, you can do it." Like it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. So if that's where your heart is, start slow. Like spend your evenings you're already doing it. You're learning, you're teaching yourself, you're surrounding yourself with the right environment to set yourself onto that path.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's just like it's been amazing. Just like it's so funny because, like, sometimes I sit there and I talk bikes with people, and some of these people are surprised that I know what I know, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah." Like, and they're like, "How do you know all these things?" And I was like, "I talk to my husband about bikes a lot," because, like, he comes home from work and he talks about bikes constantly, and, like, it's been like this for, like, the last my goodness, going on 3 years now of just, like, everyday bike talk. Like, at some point, like, in the day, we talk bikes, and we talk bikes a lot. And I mean, it's just him showing me pictures of things that he's working on. There's been days where I've gone into the shop and, you know, I get to see what's going on. And it's just amazing. Like, I mean, and not only that, but like he works for a really high performance shop in this area. Like they build high performing bikes. And I'm like, I get to learn from the best of the best, like in my opinion. And
Mhm.
I'm totally biased, but like these guys, I'm just like so impressed by them. Like my husband didn't go to school for this. His boss literally taught him everything. And now I'm learning from him and it's just crazy. Like his boss even tells him like I've never seen anybody like pick it up the way you do. Like or just I mean it's insane.
That's so awesome. You know, it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people, putting
Yeah.
yourself in the right environment. And I always say, if I walk into a room and I see somebody with the skill set that I want, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet them and I'm going to try and learn from them because
Mhm.
I think highly of them.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you're doing incredible things. And you mentioned that your stepson is into riding too.
Yeah, like he's into writing. So I mean, it was crazy. The other day my husband was like, "Let's go for a ride." And this kid is 6'2". He's tall. My husband's 6 foot. And so like they get on his bike and I get on mine. We ride to like this area of town where like it's like a boat landing, huge parking lot, like whatnot. And my husband just like he takes off and he's gone. And I'm just like, whatever. And so I get there and like I get to the parking lot and I see Justin and he's like in the front, Nathan's sitting behind him, and I'm like, I'm terrified. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, and it doesn't look like it's going so well. And then Nathan's like, no, 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 get off. And I'm like, and then from there he was like, we're taking your bike. And I'm like, no. And like I'm just like, no. Like in my mind, like here's what I'm thinking. Like I pulled up, I seen them kind of struggling on his. I'm like, what if Justin gets hurt? Nathan, you're not wearing a helmet. Like, what if you guys crash? Like, what are we gonna say to the insurance? Like, I totally like just like had this moment of just like my younger self would have been like, yeah, go for it. And now I'm like, now I'm
Adult
so
mode.
hesitant, like, uh, and I don't think my husband gets like where my mind was at that point in time,
Yeah.
but it was just like, I don't know what to think about this. And like, so like the first moment when they're taking off on my bike, like I'm literally like internally cringing. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to feel about this. Like, this is really scary. And then like I watched them take the corner. And then like that's when like I let out that breath like of my husband knows what he's doing. I don't give him enough
Yeah.
credit. I did not say that. No, I totally but no, like I have those moments where I like doubt
Oh,
things and
yeah.
I totally block myself from seeing beyond that. And like with him, like he's just like, no. And I'm like, but no, like after watching him go around like the first time, like I was like, you know what? Like my husband has the situation under control. Like the feeling Justin must be having, like it's probably unreal. Like I get to ride a
Mhm.
motorcycle for the first time with my dad. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge
That's
bonding moment. Like it was huge and just I can't even imagine what he was feeling at that time. Like,
oh, yeah. That's something you'll never forget.
yeah.
You never forget riding with your dad.
Mhm.
As, like, for me, that's how I started. I rode on the back with my dad. He'd put my sister on the tank. He'd take us to daycare. Like, you never forget riding with your dad. So I am so excited for him, and you guys are able to share that passion as a
Mhm.
family is even cooler. Like, you guys are so rad.
I don't know. I it's just like wild it's a wild experience, and I mean, like, for a minute there, like, a few years ago, he was kind of hesitant about the whole motorcycle thing, and then, like, it seems like in the last few years, like, he's really, like, been opening up to it, And so I remember at one point I like looked at Justin and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool is if you and your dad could build a bike together. So I'm not gonna lie, I put that little bug in his head and he was like, wait, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Nathan, you and Justin need to like build a bike together. Like what better bonding experience can a son and father have than to like build a bike? Like motorcycles run in your guys' veins. That's you guys to a T, your family, like everything. And so it's just amazing, like just to see the dynamic between him and his son. And I don't know, like I'm kind of excited to see where that journey takes them because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. That is so much fun, and like I said, memories that you'll never forget growing up, you know? Like
Yeah.
for you and your grandpa and, you know, him and his dad now and that
Yeah.
experience. So what do you have planned for this summer? Are you besides your dream role, any other big trips, any big plans?
Um, like at this point, I'm kind of just winging it. Like I am going to dream roll. I think I might have the opportunity to work it, and I'm super excited about that because I mean, everything that it symbolizes, like everybody has different symbolism of different things. And like what it symbolizes for me, like it's huge and it's monumental. Like I've been dreaming about this camp out for years, and now finally I get to go experience it. And it's going to be amazing. And then I'm definitely going down to the Boise area. Like I was going to do another camp out there, but I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to go because that's 2 camp outs within 2 weeks of each other. And so I do want to go to the Party at the Pen show. It's just like this epic show at an old penitentiary. Like I heard it's really cool. And like the bikes that are there, like the scene in the Boise area seems like it's pretty rad. And so I definitely want to
Mhm.
go there, check out the bikes, meet some people. Um, and then I was contemplating on riding to Utah. Like I would love to go to Salt Lake City to go to like the Hell Babes headquarters. Like, I mean, I met a few of those girls a few years back when they rode through town, and so now I would love to like go to their area and experience where they get to live. And
Mhm.
um yeah, so like I definitely plan on riding a lot this summer. I want to do a lot of trips, but it's just like I'm one of those people who work a 9 to 5, so I got to be
Yeah.
like kind of choosy with what I do. And then, I mean, at one point, like on Instagram, my handle is Harley and Huskies, and I want to get my husky on the bike with me. My husband's
That's
like, "You're
awesome.
crazy. You're gonna get into an accident." And I was like, "No, they have these things. They're called canine sacks. I can totally do it." And he's like, "No, she moves too much. Like, you're not gonna be able to do it." And I was like, "Puppy Benadryl? Like, make her tired before?" That sounds awful.
Train her into it. Make her a little drowsy and train her into it.
Well, that's what I figured, like, make her, like, a little bit drowsy, and then, like, let her experience it for the first time, and then maybe after that, she'll just relax into it.
It's
Like
like sticking her head out the window, but her whole body. It's like a
yeah,
new level.
and, like, that's the thing is because like, in my car, I have, like, a sunroof, and so I always open that for her, and she'll stand on the console, and she'll, like, stick out her head and just, like and she loves it.
Yeah.
She'll stay in the same spot the whole time, and she won't move.
Aw,
It's just
aw.
it's her favorite thing, like, she will stick her head out the sunroof before she sticks her head out the window,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "You I mean, she does that, but I don't know." We'll I'm tempted to do it. Definitely has to be on the Dyna because I think I'll die on the chopper.
Yeah, for sure. Practice in the driveway a little bit, maybe down the street. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be so epic.
I don't know. I just would love to be able to ride with her and, like, if I could one day take her, because like, for me, my dog goes like, if I can take my dog everywhere, I'm happiest. And so,
Mhm.
if I would be able to take her on rides and take her on trips with me, like, that would just be so much better.
Yeah.
It's a dream. Sorry, I keep looking down. I'm looking at her right now because she's like, "You're talking about."
Aw. She knows.
But we'll see. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll let my nerves get the best of me, but I think I at least have to try it once.
Yeah, for sure. Try it once.
Yeah.
It sounds like, yeah, you've got some good plans. I've heard the pen is awesome. Like
Mhm.
the choppers that go there. Actually know somebody who took his chopper there and he said it was like super incredible experience and he wants to go back every year. And then Salt Lake City, Utah, absolutely gorgeous to
Mhm.
ride in. I don't know if you've ever ridden over there, but man, oh yeah, the the scenery,
Oh,
unbelievable.
that sounds
Yeah.
so amazing. Like, I've seen pictures and just, like, the outdoors, like, I'm a super outdoorsy person already, and so,
Mhm.
like, I've seen so many pictures, and then, like, just, like, the women's community that they have there, like, I would love to, like, go to one of their meetups and
Yeah.
just be like, "I'm here." I don't know. I feel so dorky, but it's just like, I wanna do it, like, I wanna go meet these people, I wanna
Yeah.
go for the rides, like, I haven't been many places. I think I would just like to expand and travel more, and if I can travel on my motorcycle, it's just gonna make it that much better.
Mhm. I think you're in a prime spot, right? Like, throw a tent on the back of your bike and just
Mhm.
explore. Take the weekends because 'cause I'm like you, I work a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, right? So, I'm limited on where I can go and what I can do, but that's what my husband and I love to do. Throw a tent on the back of the bike, and
Mhm.
then we'll just pick a random spot, and we'll go there for the weekend and then hustle home Sunday. But
Yeah.
you still allows you to experience a lot. And you're
Yeah.
in a good area to be able just to kinda quickly branch out to different places.
Yeah. Definitely. I was
So
doing that with my husband, like, a few years back because he's in the motorcycle world in, like, a different capacity, so, like,
mhm.
he would be like, "We're going on this run, we're going to go do this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and it just weekend warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, "Alright," and so now, like, I guess now for me, like, I'm just kind of, like, getting into this community that's for me and, like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm in it for the ladies, like, I just
Oh,
wanna make
yeah.
friends.
I hear ya, I hear ya. Absolutely.
I feel so guilty because sometimes I'm like, "Will you be my friend?" And, like, my husband's like, "You're weird." I'm like, "What?" I'm
They
like,
don't get it.
as children, we used to ask people, like, "Will you be my friend?" Like, let's
Right?
bring that back. Let's bring that
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, I agree. I'm the same way. My husband's the same way. He's like, "You're a little weirdo," and I'm like, "You know what? Everybody I meet's a weirdo too, so it works out."
Yeah, embrace the weird.
It's never
Yeah,
not worked for me yet, so I don't know. Keep going.
exactly.
And so, my last question for you is what advice do you have for women who are looking to get into this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things I would say is if, like, you're looking into getting a bike, into riding is definitely, like, taking courses. I think that was, like, the number one piece of advice that I received from everyone, like, when I would ask that same question, "What should I do?" They'd be like, "Take a course." Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool, you can get your permit, you can, have someone teach you, but there's something different when you go to the courses, and they have so much to offer. Even advanced writers go to these courses. I mean,
Mhm.
there's always room to learn and to improve. I would also say sit on a bunch of different bikes. Get the feel of them, like stand them up, kind of rock side to side, push it forward and back, like wiggle in the seat, see how you feel. Does it feel comfortable? You know, one thing I did with my grandma when she was doing the course was like, I had her come over and ride my little 110. And I was like, okay, like you have your class, like why don't you come over here and ride this? And if you have that available to you, maybe like ride a smaller dirt bike or you
Mm-hmm.
know um watch videos, get on YouTube, watch videos, talk to anyone who rides bikes, ask questions. And no question is stupid. Every question is open. Like, how else are
Mm-hmm.
you going to learn unless you ask? And so, um, find women who inspire you. There are so many women. Like, find women who inspire you and just keep that fire going. Keep that fire
Yep.
going. Be prepared to fail. Like, there's going to be times when you fail, but like when you finally get past that moment and you just keep going despite each failure, each roadblock that you hit, it's all worth it. Like, in some way, you're learning something. It's amazing. Like, and through this, you learn more about yourself. You learn about what you're capable of. Um, you build confidence in ways that you've never experienced before. So just seek anything. And I would also say, like, if there's classes near you that teach you basic maintenance for motorcycles, learn to do basic things on your bike because you never know if you're going to get stranded on the road. At
Mm-hmm.
least maybe you can do a little bit of troubleshooting and work on your bike yourself. Like, carry tools with you. They got the little tool packs that you can carry with you. Like,
Yep.
just learn as much as you can, absorb it all. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing I would say too for beginner riders, like if you're going to buy a bike, take someone with you who knows, who's been riding for a while, has more experience with bikes, because there's so many different bikes out there. If you're buying used, you definitely need to be careful. Um, always make sure you like take it to a shop or something to get it looked at, and
Yep.
just be safe, have fun, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I think that is some pretty incredible advice. I really love the piece of prepare to fail because even when you fail, you're right. We take something out of that. It's not always a failure. It's all in how we want to take it and perceive it and move forward. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's some really, really great advice. And I hope that anybody listening, if you're thinking about it, I hope you feel inspired and make sure to go follow Kylee on Instagram. I'll link all of her stuff in the description notes below. But it has been an absolute honor to have you on.
Thank
And
you.
you have an incredible spirit and passion. And to see your determination is wildly inspiring to myself, even. Um, to just keep pushing, just keep going, just keep pushing, just keep learning. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Check those bucket list items off. Just do it. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I reached out to you on Instagram, and I really hope, because you said you're only a couple hours from the Canadian border, so maybe one day we
Yeah,
can link up. That would be absolutely amazing.
definitely. That would be so rad. I have a girlfriend who she lives down in Oregon, but she's actually going back up to work in Canada here soon. And so I told her, I was
Wow.
like, well, if you're ever passing through my neck of the woods, I'll let you ride one of my bikes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, yeah, no, that would be totally rad. I would love to like link up. I definitely
Mhm.
want to like go ride in your area, like experience that, 'Cause, like, I feel like there's just so much to, like, experience. Wanna experience it
Yeah.
all.
It's been so great, and I do hope that we can link up again, and I appreciate all the love on Instagram, and I would love to
Absolutely.
stay in touch with you. Yeah.
That would be great, like, I feel so honored that you would, like, even ask me. I'm like when you asked me, I'm like, "Really? Me? You
Yeah,
sure
I was like
else?"
I was like, "This girl is a badass. I need to have her on right now."
I don't know, when you, like, messaged me, I, like, got so excited. My I was actually at the show, and I was
Oh,
so
really?
I was, that day I was at the show, and I was super excited, and, like, I'd read the message, and I'm, like, trying to run around back and forth. I'm doing all these things. I told my husband, I was like, "I got invited to do a podcast," and he was like, "What?" I'm like, "I get to do this. This is so cool," and he's just like, "Right on." That's awesome. Do it.
Yeah. I'm still like, it's still really small, but I'm
Mhm.
starting to see it kinda grow, and I wanted to share stories of other women, and I wanted to share that
Mhm.
passion, and I wanted to let other people know what it's like what we have.
Yeah.
So,
I think
yeah,
that's
it's been
absolutely amazing. Like, kudos to you. I feel like it's so brave taking that step, like, of starting, like, a podcast, like, and just putting yourself out there and meeting all these different people, like, that's so brave, and it's so, like, I don't know, it's amazing.
But it goes back to that network piece, right? Like, it doesn't matter. I've made connections all over again, right? So it's,
Yeah,
oh, if you're coming through here, stop in. And the same to you. Like, if you ever come this way, my door is always open. My dad runs
thank
a little
you.
bike shop up here if you ever need help, if you're in my area for whatever reason, right? Like, it's just one of those things that you can't find connections like this elsewhere.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm like I'm just now, like, really learning that. I went through, like, this phase where, like, I was in a bubble for 2 years and I wasn't doing a whole lot. I
Hmm.
shied away from people. Like, I think what it was is I moved to a new state and I was like, "Ah, I resist change so
Yeah.
much." And now I'm just like, "I want to live. Like, I can't keep living this way." And, I've just been throwing myself into things that I love. And, like, I think for me, like, I really fear rejection of, like,
Hmm.
what if people don't like me? Or what if, like, and, like, now it's just, like, pushing down all those doubts, all of those
Yeah.
fears, like, everything, and just being like, "Well, what if they do?
Hmm.
What if you meet great friends? Like,
And
why
if
not?"
they don't,
Yeah.
I always say their loss.
Mhm.
You got to get to that stage too where it's like, if you don't like me, that's your loss because I know I'm a rad person and I know
Yeah,
that you're missing out. So,
definitely. I received the best piece of advice, and it was, other people's opinion are none of your business.
yeah.
What they think of you, what they have to say about you, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
That's what they think. Doesn't make it
Mhm.
true.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has been so fantastic talking to you. Thank
Me
you so
too.
much for coming
Yes.
on. And like I said, I really hope we can link up.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too. We'll be in touch.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you were able to take a little piece of empowerment away. Stay up to date with what's going on with me in Chicago by following us on Instagram. You can also check out our videos on YouTube. As always, stay rad, babes.